Alrighty, let's take a look at this question. So we have teens competing, or basically competing in sports, swimming, cycling, running. So we know to draw a Venn diagram with 3 circles in it to represent each sport. I've done them in colors just so that it'll be easier to talk about it. Um, and they're giving us some information. So let's put that on there. Now we can't put 35 trained in swimming because that would be all of these regions within swimming added up should give us that 35. So we can't really use that yet. So we're going to, and same thing with the cycling and the running. So we're going to go down to the next line. 9 trained in swimming and cycling. So that would be the overlap of the swimming and cycling, which would be this area here. These 2 areas would add together. That's the overlap of the blue circle and red circle. But then they say not in swimming. So, oh, what did I read? But not in running. So these 2 areas are the overlap of swimming and cycling. But this one area here with the X in it is within the running circle. So as a result, we're just talking about this one area here. So that 9 can go straight in there. Let's put a 9 there. Okay, let's go on to 11 trained in cycling and running. Okay, so red circle, yellow circle, where they overlap would be that X and this area here. But then they say, but not swimming, so we remove the part that's in the blue circle. So we're just talking about this area here. So 11 would go in that area. All right, and then 13 trained in swimming, so blue circle, and running. So the overlap of the blue circle and the yellow circle would be these 2 regions, but not cycling. So that X, which is in the red circle, we wouldn't consider. We'd only consider this area right here would be the 11, or sorry, 13. So there we go. So we've employed now all 3 of these, 9, 11, 13, into our Venn diagram. Okay, now we still can't use 35, but let's look at what the question's asking for. So it says a triathlon consists of swimming, cycling, and running. Okay, so the overlap of all 3 circles would be that middle region, which I put an X there. So we're going to let X be the thing we're looking for, which is the number of teens that do all 3 sports. Okay, so that's our X. We're trying to solve for X. Now, here's the problem. We don't know the number that should go in this region in swimming, who only swam, or this region, who only cycled or only run. So I'm going to introduce a few more variables just so that we can set up some equations. So I'm going to go S for swimming in that area there, C for cycling, and R for running will be the other 3 things we don't know. Okay, and now we're going to set up some equations. So now we're going to look at that 35 trained in swimming. So everything in the swimming circle, the S, the 9, the X, and the 13 will add up to 35. So we're going to create an equation for that. So 35 equals X plus S plus 9 plus 13. And we could simplify that a little. 9 plus 13 would be 22. And then let's take that 22 to the other side. So we have X and S by itself, and we can combine those numbers then. So that's going to be 13 equals X plus S. Now, we're going to make up basically 4 equations here altogether. And we want to be solving for X. So I'm going to actually isolate S so that the expression I have will have X in it. So I'm going to subtract X from both sides. So 13 minus X equals S. Okay, that's one equation. Now let's go on to 32 trained in cycling. So everything in the red circle, the cycling circle, 9, C, 11, and X, will add to 32. So we go 32 equals X plus C plus 9 plus 11. And we can add the numbers again. So 32 equals x plus c plus 20. And then let's get that 20 to the other side so that we can have 12, like subtract 20 from both sides, equals x plus c. And again, I'm going to want an expression with x in it, so I'm going to subtract x to the other side. And you'll see the method to my madness in a minute why we want to have x in the expression and c and s isolated. Okay, let's go on to the next circle, running. So we have 38 are trained in running, so everything in the yellow circle adds up to 38. Same idea as the last two. 38 equals x plus r plus 13 plus 11. Add the numbers together, 24, and then subtract 24 from both sides, and we would have 14 equals x plus r. I want to bring the x to the other side, so I have an expression with x that I'm going to sub in to the equation I'm about to create right now. Okay, now there's one thing we didn't use yet, and that's that 58, I believe, yes, 58 teens all together did at least one of those sports. So that's going to be another equation. 58 is our total. So all of these numbers and letters in all three circles would add to 58. So 58 equals s plus c plus r plus x, a lot of letters, plus 9 plus 11, and then plus 13. Okay, so I'm just going to move this over now. Okay, so let's add the numbers that we can, just like we did with the last two. So we'll still have all these variables. 9 plus 11 is 20, plus 13 is 33. And then we'll subtract 33 from both sides, which would give us 25. So 25 equals s plus c plus r plus x. And now what we're going to do is we're going to replace s with, oh, I should use the same color. So replace s with the expression that is s over here, which would be 13 minus x. And then we're going to replace c with the expression here, 12 minus x. And then finally, we're going to replace r with 14 minus x. And then we still keep the x in there because that's really what we're trying to solve for. Okay, so that's going to get to be a long equation. So replacing s, we have 13 minus x. Replacing c, we have 12 minus x. Replacing r, 14 minus x. And then we have that plus x at the end. So 25 would equal, let's add all those numbers together. 13 and 12 is 25, plus 14 would be 39. And then negative x plus negative x, negative 2x, minus another x, negative 3x, plus x, negative 2x. And then just to have x positive, I'm going to add it to the other side. And then I'm going to subtract 25 from both sides. So I should have 2x equals 39 minus 25, which would be 14. Divide both sides by 2, and we get x is equal to 7. Well, what was x? We defined x as the number of teams that did all three, and that is what the question's asking. How many teams might be training for the triathlon, which is all three sports? And that would be 7. So 7 teams for triathlon. I know that was a lot, that question, but there you go. I hope that helped.